We're going to begin with this weather, of course, because March is still coming in like a lion in the Northeast, where the second big storm in 5 days is likely to cause more widespread damage. Oh, no. Heavy snow. It started falling early this morning in Washington, D.C. It's now spreading across the region. This developing nor'easter will bring snow and strong winds to many communities that were hit hard last weekend.
The storm could dump a foot or more of snow in parts of New York and New England. Winter storm warnings are up from eastern Pennsylvania to Maine.
More than 100,000 people who are still without power because of last week's nor'easter could face new disruption. Don Dahler is in Bala Cynwyd, Pennsylvania, just northwest of Philadelphia, which is still recovering from the last storm. Don, good morning.
Good morning. I'm standing in front of a house here in this Philadelphia suburb that was almost split in two by a falling tree last week. There were people inside. Fortunately, they were not injured, and hopefully they're sleeping safe and sound somewhere else. But this really illustrates the dangers that all the people are facing all up and down the East Coast now. This is incredibly wet and heavy snow. It adds a lot of weight to the tops of these old trees, and their root systems have already been weakened by this storm last week. In fact, I want to show you this. This is the tree that fell on that house, and you can see just how massive and old it is. It couldn't stand up to those winds. This also shows you the risk not only for the residents, but for these utility crews that have been out day and night trying to restore electricity to tens of thousands of customers. The streets are still littered with branches and trees and power lines. And those power lines are no joke. In fact, I want to show you some video from New York City where an electrical line fell down next to some police officers and some other cars. Now, the determinant factor as to whether this storm is going to be as damaging as last week's, the winds. We are told they're not supposed to be as intense as last week, but they still could be gusting upwards of 60 miles an hour. It's going to be a long day. John.
Don, thanks.